So today, we are walking in Black Sands Basin, which is in Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone is a very interesting and unique place, as it is in the crater of a volcano. And the heat from the magma is still close to the ground compared to other magma. I don't guess it's really actually what would seem like close, but geologically speaking, it is close. Which gives us lots of really interesting thermal effects. Part of what you'll miss in the video is the fact that lots of these thermal effects, whether they be springs like this one or geysers or just steam vents, they all contain a certain amount of sulfur, which has a very distinctive aroma, much like that of rotten eggs. You'll notice the different colors on the rock. Despite the extreme heat of the water coming out of these thermals, there are small microscopic organisms that enjoy the heat. So they live in the hot water runoff. And that is what gives the rock the different colors. The rock itself, much like stalactites or stalagmites in a cave, are created by the minerals in the water that get left behind. Much of the places that you walk in Yellowstone that are around thermal effects will be on these boardwalks, which is in part to keep them from getting damaged by people walking on them, but also because, especially with the larger ones, the little mineral crust around the edges of them can be too thin to support your weight. And so if you walk on them, then you fall in the thermal pools. It's generally not healthy. Not only are many of them way above boiling, but some of them, especially in the Norris Geyser Basin, are extremely acidic. You may notice on the video, especially when we get closer to some of the hot springs and thermals, that you see lots of piles of buffalo scat. The reason for that is these are like little saunas for the buffalo in the wintertime, because they stay hot and steamy year-round, and the buffalo come in here and stand in the steam in order to get warm. So especially in the spring, when the snow first melts, there is an unbelievable amount of buffalo scat laying around. This is a little later in the year. Had some rain, snow's melted. A lot of it has been reabsorbed by the earth. Today is an absolutely beautiful day. You look at these things and they look bottomless. And while I guess technically they can't be bottomless, this water that comes to the surface here comes up through cracks in the earth's crust. So they are really, really deep. Now, they're probably not that big all the way down. They get down to where they're just cracks and fissures. But nonetheless, the water comes from deep in the earth. In the summertime, this is often a very crowded spot, and it's nice today because you can hear the creek running off the hill in the background, and the geysers bubbling and the birds tweeting. Faithful is a very famous geyser. Most people have seen pictures or videos. But any spring that shoots water into the air is a geyser. So even that little bitty guy out there is a geyser, not just a hot spring. Sorry, I'm doing this left-handed now and I'm not as steady. And if you look closely, you can see the little tendrils in the water. That are small organisms that live in the hot water. Just Completely amazing. And they live not only in the runoff, but in the pools themselves. You'll see blue, green, and orange, yellow. And like anything, water can change its mind where it wants to go. And the amount of water coming out of the springs can change as well. But the dead trees off in the distance there, if you can notice on the video, the very bottoms of them are white. They call those bobby socks trees. And that's because at one time, the water from this spring ran that way. And the trees soak up the water. And the same minerals that create the rock around the springs clogs up the trees' water absorption system. And then they get the white bottoms like that, and it kills the trees. They call them bobby socks trees. And so, why would the water change which way it went? Well, sometimes it can be a volume of water, like this little extension here. If there was more water in this spring right now, it might run off that hill and back towards those trees. Quite often in Yellowstone, it is due to volcanic activity. Not volcanic activity, excuse me, earthquake activity. When there is an earthquake, it can shift the rocks underneath the springs. Sometimes that'll turn a spring into a geyser. Geyser into a spring. Sometimes it'll dry up altogether. Sometimes it just shifts the way the water runs out. But earthquakes are frequent. Although not usually severe in the Yellowstone area. Wind is picking up, and I do not have a wind buffer, so I'm sorry if the little extra noise. Some geysers, like Old Faithful, are predictable. We know they go off on a regular schedule. Right now, Old Faithful's going off approximately every 90 minutes, give or take 10 minutes. Some of them it's every 2 hours, some it varies from geyser to geyser. But lots of them are completely unpredictable. And who knows what they'll do. Sometimes you just have to be lucky to be standing in the right spot when it happens. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of Black Sands Geyser Basin. And please like and subscribe. Thank you.